we're going to cover is rudder assembly. So your cable, obviously that just slides right into the black housing here. Okay, so this is the longer eye. This one goes at the front of the cable. What I like to do, this is stainless steel bolt going into aluminum that can sometimes have a, they can react together and get locked in there. So I like to put a little anti-seize on the bolts before they go in there, which we do that here, but it doesn't hurt for you to do it also. It just makes sure that this bolt can tighten and you can pull this eye off if you ever need it to. So slide that on there, put these two bolts in, tighten it up. You want to make sure that this flat side here is going to be facing towards where the handle goes. So the handle is going to be here. This is going to bolt right to the handle. Okay, that's good. Little test pull on there, that's fine. Okay, we're going to slide our handle in here. Okay. We'll pop this washer off here. And we're going to connect that eye. Get my hands out of the way. Right on there. Okay. And we're going to bolt this on. Now the key is you don't want this too tight. You want this eye to be able to pivot there. So take it down and then just make sure you still got, you don't want play like this, but you want it just snug enough so that it can still rotate with ease. So what I do here is I go ahead and tighten it so it gets snug. See, that's too tight, it's not going to pivot. So then I just flip it and back it off just a little bit. Now that will pivot just fine. Okay, so now the handle's set up. So let's go to the back and hook up the back. All right, so now putting the eye on here, the key here is to make sure that you put this in this direction. So you're going to slide this one on and tighten this bolt. And that part's done. Okay. All right, so next we're going to put the gudgeon on. This bolts right here into these two inserts right here. I like to put on some blue Loctite. Okay. Bolt number 2. Blue Loctite.
Go ahead.
Okay, so that's done. This is on. Make sure it's tight. Tighten that up a little bit more. All right, we're good now. All right, so this is the rudder blade housing. So it's very simple. It goes right through here. And you just put this nut on. You don't want to make this too tight. You want it to pivot good, but you at least want the nylock part of the nut on there so that this nut can't loosen up on you. All right, so then you got your, this attaches your cable to here. So we're just going to put these 2 bolts through right here, and then this piece is going to attach to that cable. It's simple. Now this washer on here, you want this to be up against the washer. That just helps it to be able to pivot smooth so your cable doesn't get bound up. Okay, so it goes on like this. I just need to tighten everything up. All right, so we got these tightened down. We got this to at least snug, but you still want that to be able to pivot. It needs to be able to turn there, so do not tighten this too tight or your cable can get bound up. So now we got the tomahawk blade. We're gonna install that into the housing. So you just pop this pin out. Go. All right, so see the spring's got this piece here? Whatever you call this piece here, you got that slit there. So when it goes through the hole, you want it to grab that piece right there. That way when you twist, it puts some tension on the spring. Okay? So see it's on there? Now, we're gonna put enough tension on this so that the blade wants to go down into place. Okay? Action. Now these pieces, they go in, there's holes, so now it's locked in place. And now you just got to put your cotter pin back in. Done. All right, so now we open our little bag here, and we got a rope. You got the end for pulling on. You got some screws. You got a clam cleat. You got a little cable guide here, and then 2 of these cable guides here. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is attach our rope. Get out of the tangled mess that's in here. Your rope goes through this eye. Through this eye. Run it through this hole here. Tie a little knot. If you want to make sure this knot never comes out, then you can melt this a little bit here, but if you want to be able to take it off if you need to, don't do that. Now, you see how this goes right in that spot there? Right there, and then now that's how you pull the rudder blade up. Now we're going to attach these eyes. I'm just going to use these screws. I'm going to screw this eye guide in here. That one's going to go there. This one I'm going to attach right here. And then this one's going to go here, and that way it runs that rope along the deck nicely. Now when you're putting screws into plastic, you don't want to overpower the screw. So the thread goes into plastic and you just get it snug and stop. Otherwise, if you keep turning the threads, they're just going to eat up that plastic, and then it's just going to be a round hole there stuck down in there. So just to snug and stop. Okay. I like these to be able to pivot a little bit, so you don't want them too tight. All right, and then last will be the clam cleat. Messed up there. Anyways, I just untied this and now I'm running it through the clam cleat. Like a soap. And then I'm gonna put the clam cleat right here. And that's done. Now what that does is it locks the rope so that the rudder can't go down. Or when you pull it out of the clam cleat, that releases the rudder down. Easy peasy. Now, that knob was all the way down here. This would be too much rope anyway, so we would have to cut this anyhow. So what I do here, run that rope through that ball. Before you set the ball where you need it at, you want to make sure that you got enough slack here for the blade to go down. So I'm going to actually release the blade down, and then I'm going to leave a little bit of slack in here for where I set the ball at. And at that point, I'm just going to go ahead. You want to zoom in there? At that point, you just tie yourself a knot in here. And that's the stop for the ball. Now you got yourself a little handle, and you don't have too much extra length up here at the front. That's how you control it. And then you can just, I do like to sometimes put an extra knot in that just to make it a little bigger. And I'm just going to cut this off, and that's ready to go. Okay, so when it comes to setting this handle where you need it at, what you want to do is, when this is straight up and down, you want that rudder blade to be slightly turned to the left of the way I'm looking at it, would be a little bit to the right, the way that you were looking at it. So that's a little bit too much. I want it like right in there, and then tighten this thing down right there. And that makes sure that you get the max turning radius out of this rudder both ways. You can almost turn it to where it becomes a brake. This rudder here gives you one of the best turn radiuses you're going to get on a pedal drive. It works nice and easy, nice and smooth. The key to these rudders, this is a real beefy stainless steel cable. It's super strong. But you just do not want to be overextending crazily this way, or make sure that you don't go trying to turn it while that rudder's stuck down in the mud or something, because you can kink this cable if you do that. Also, if this is too tight and this isn't pivoting right, then you can kink the cable. Other than that, there's not too much you can do wrong to this rudder.